All right, so today we're going to fix a dishwasher that's not filling with water. We figured out a few days ago that it wasn't filling with water when the dishes weren't getting clean, so I started running it, hitting it, starting a cycle, and then listening for it to fill with water. I could tell it wasn't filling water because I couldn't hear that normal water rushing in sound. I'm going to show you how to run diagnostic codes on a Kitchenaid dishwasher. So you open up the door and you find these buttons over here and you hit these three in order 3 times in a row. All the lights turn on, close the dishwasher, watch the light and it'll blink with two numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Second number, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it'll keep cycling through that, but that's an error code 6-4. So if you just go to the Kitchenaid website or just Google Kitchenaid error code 6-4, it'll tell you what problems you have. In this case, it's indicating that it's a bad fill valve or float switch. So there's 3 main problems that can be the cause of a dishwasher not filling with water, and luckily they're all pretty easy to diagnose and fix. So I'll walk through those today. The first one is there's no water getting to the dishwasher from your water supply. Now nothing's changed with my water supply, so I know that's not the problem with this dishwasher. For reference though, if you want to know where the water comes into your dishwasher, it's usually here on the side. There's a fill area and the water comes in, fills up, and it fills up until the float valve comes up and triggers a switch underneath the dishwasher to shut it off. So the next problem that it can be is the fill switch. So this float triggers a switch that I'll show you in a few minutes down below. If there's a problem with that switch, it'll keep the dishwasher from filling with water. Luckily, these are pretty easy things to fix. The third thing is a fill valve, and it's the fill valve on this dishwasher. So there's a wire harness that clips on, this adapter connects, and then you just connect your water supply directly onto it. It's accessible on this side of this dishwasher, and the float switch is accessible here. So there's one access panel we need to take off. We can get to both, and I'll also show you how to diagnose your float switch to see whether or not it's working. To get into the dishwasher, there's an access panel on the front. I'm going to take a flat blade screwdriver, and there's 2 little clips down here that you're going to just twist about 90 degrees to gain access. So there's one on this side, twist it 90 degrees, pull it out. One on the other side, twist it 90 degrees, and pull it out. Then we take out this cover. There's a bunch of insulation attached to the back. I'm just going to set that aside. And then when we get in here, what we can see is the fill valve here on the left side. It's attached with the screw here. And then the hose, the fill hose, is attached here. And then on this side, inside this white box, that black piece inside there, that's the float switch. So there's 2, this may be a little different on your dishwasher, but there's 2 kind of clips and panels that open up on this float switch. Pinch together those clips, and these ones pinch together this way, and you can remove it. All right, now you can see this black float switch here. That's what we're going to need to remove. We're also going to need to remove the wire harness to be able to remove it. Before I remove that, I want to show you, this is how the float switch works. That gray rod coming down, that's connected to the float inside the dishwasher. And that float, when it rises up, this is spring loaded, pulls this down, and there's a little switch, a little button on the bottom of the black float switch that when it's down, it pushes in, and when it's floating up, it pulls away, and that's what activates and deactivates the switch. All right, so this is a multimeter. There's lots of different ones. There's ones that are manual that have a needle that goes back and forth. This is a digital one. Doesn't really matter what kind you have, you can do this reading. There are a couple settings where you can do it. You can either you want to do your ohms of resistance here, and you want to go to the lowest setting on that, or you can do this setting here if you have a digital one, which is a cleaned up signal for that ohms of resistance. So what you're looking for on this is the switch could be normally open or normally closed. For checking it, it doesn't really matter. What we're looking for is a difference in the read output and resistance, whether this is pushed in or not. So when you're set to resistance, you're going to put one probe on one of the leads and one on the other lead. And you can see right now I have an open circuit based on the reading on my multimeter. When I push this button in, we're looking for a change. You can see this is changing and showing that I have a completed circuit because it's showing very low resistance. So infinite resistance, very low resistance. That means my switch is still working. If there's no change when you're doing this, it doesn't matter which reading you're getting. If there's no change when you push that button, the problem is your float switch.
Once you've figured out what part you need to find the part number. I use these sites or a Google search to find the part number by using a parts list. Once I have the part number, I will buy the part from a site such as the ones where I found it, Amazon, or eBay. If you found this video helpful, be sure to hit the like button so others can find it, and subscribe to my channel. You can also check out my website, natefixesit.com, and check the description of this video for links to the tools and parts that I use to complete the job.